My sister walks into, I gave it to her. They sent the letter. 3 months later, did you sign this letter? Yes, I sent the letter. But they took out the picture. Yes, I sent it. If I was a bit of their condemnation. If I was a bit of their condemnation.
Sure.
They jumped into Kabila. That was 1979, they never came back. I saw the picture in 2009, 40 years ago. But the point I'm making, what are we doing to protect it? What are we doing in national competition? That is why. Where are your parents? I am below their care. Single kind of sense of our. The December is raining. The Sabbath, the Seventh-day Adventist, and somebody support to send the message. I got worried when we were allowing Abandona to teach. Like a boy, they present the idea.
All it needs is to say you are on the right track.
City improve here, strengthen that. I'm an IT person. I have been in the IT space for doing this. My career in 1988. Asibuya kwathiwa 1988. Asibuya kwathiwa abantu abazawubuya lapha esikoleni mababhatale zonke ifees. Mama wami uthengisa erenkini. You start knowing almost all that you need to know. You start mastering what you need to master. And you start looking at these things differently. What is it that we can do differently as a country to drive a new narrative? We have been told so many times that we are not good enough, that we are not it, that we are listened. What is said is that is listened. And we have even been convinced City Bangono Bona. Now that narrative has been manufactured. There's a Russian gentleman, I forgot his name. He defected from the US, from Russia, moved to the US, and he wrote a paper. And the paper was start collapsing the family. Start collapsing the family. Nawe unganguye umuntu ongutata. You don't need the structure with the at the top and the mud. The question is, how will we do this? Because I think we are almost on phase 4. 2, it can create new skills. 3, it can develop it. Microsoft was sitting at 3.5. The potential for South Africa is that South Africa will capture the potential for South Africa is that South Africa will capture is huge. I will say this, but if you quote me, I will deny it. The carbon credit exposure ESCOM is above 20 billion atmosphere. Measured trade in carbon credits into that sinemva kakhulu. Asikho ngemva ngoba singemva song. Therefore liability. And he's willing to invest. But akazu invest in an economy that is not producing. Photosynthesis? That's all it is. Planting into a spec bomb in the mountains there. 5,000 hectares of spec bomb. Every year it gives you 3 million extra liability. About a choice of not paying. They must pay. Because USARS walks in every year at nansi liability yakho. And it carbon credits is $8 at the top end, it's about $8 in South Africa today. So then we are a processor hemp, for instance, when the hemp oils, when the hemp bricks, when the hemp crate, when there's always a good you get actually be cool like a hemp yam. You don't remove the carbon dioxide. Now, certificate. You get between 150 and 200 jobs. So the chart is supported by policy. We've written the policies, we've approved the policies, we've established into a Paris Agreement. Article 6.2 and Article 6.4, we've approved those documents to say I can plant to say I can plant remove the carbon dioxide and go to play with it. But imagine if we were to start building this capacity. Remember, the President when signed the act in July last year, a Climate Change Act. That climate change said 80 companies are given 12 months to do a carbon footprint assessment. Those greenhouse gases, or this is how I'm going to offset them. The question is, who's going to do that assessment? No, he's not. Because he's making big money overseas. Abandona being two domes of the Eastern Cape. We launched the project on the 13th of April 2025 in Kumkulu. As we speak today, 20,000 hectares. This is mobilizing resources internationally. There's discussions in the US. 3.4 billion is in the driver. And I see the chewy Abandona. I think there are about 200 Abandona. I think there are about 200 kids. Where they come from, each family has got 5 hectares. Asizufundisana, because kasifundisana lose. Asizukorrekishana. Because the assassin, we like to correct people. No, you are wrong. No, you've seen the bigger picture. Have you seen what could be right? What is said, Budwam, is that we are charging people carbon tax now. I walked into SARS because I was sending emails and nobody was responding to me. I walked into SARS, which is 2024. I will teach about you tax act, its benefits, and its risks, and its compliance requirements. The Eastern positive is that therefore that means there is a space for us to empower ourselves so that we can 10 hectares. In 10 hectares will create the value of R1 million. Those are the estimates and use for that. How much land do we have life that we have? We need to start building our internal capacity. We need to start introducing our kids to the opportunities as a result of our space. Some will be highly technical, some will be functional. But all I can tell you is value. Somebody is running a test where a project where they put these big drums on the freeway. So when your trucks blowing, it's a matter of us saying, this is a space. It's a matter of us saying, this is a space. After we can now mobilize the resources. Nazi projects, Sinazo, in the Eastern Cape, invest your carbon offset budget in it. Currently it's 12%, it's 10% now. So they get a bill, you are going to pay 100,000 rand, you can take 10%. Next year it's going to be 20%. So they can offset 80%. I thought by JFE, a green fund. And doesn't is one green fund as a card. But we cannot take much. It produces this, it removes this much carbon dioxide, you're going to write papers about it. And it helps us grow in this space. Africa is even doing better than us. Yes, it has. Good to know developed entities already because they did institute. I know that there's work at the University of Cape Town, Professor McNeil, they're doing a great job there. Stellenbosch, yeah, there's work there. But you come to Western University. To say there is an opportunity. Website now, and you can put also the United Nations Staff College. If you search United Nations Staff College, you will find great content there. You can train, you can do courses that can begin with TCB. TCB. Oh, no. There's a organization. There's an organization called TCB. TCB. Yeah, what is ECDC? He extended producer responsibility. It says, if you have decided to produce this bag and you've chosen the material, make sure that you know how it's going to be disposed of. So, by it is your responsibility to finance its disposal as a company. Abantu producer this thing. Clothing. And in that clothing shop, the day boxes bengaka, they put a call to TCB. TCB, there are 6 boxes here. Please come fetch them at no cost to TCB. TCB receives 40,000 pieces of clothes. For the whole Eastern Cape. Zonke zifika. Xa ufika phaya, eza rates empahla TCB. If you go there tomorrow, to the townships, and they recruit a mama, they train them on running businesses, and they say, you can now buy. I'm not going to no shop corner because it's the corner zonke, and you buy that same item, they always share a shop at 50%. Oh, wow. All you do, yes, what is the style? You shop it, you put in the trolley, and you go and pay. Umama gets the commission yake and TCB. Not even benefiting from that. Now, instead of throwing that food away, we process that food and we get it for free because they know that they should not be throwing it away. What does it mean? It means farmers. But they've got a cap. We are trying to can only produce this much meat. Anything. So, eating a policy, you will not use it to benefit the Let us go back. Let us look at these pieces of legislation: the EPR, climate change, carbon tax, and circular economy. The related policies for us to do better. I think that is what I wanted to share. Thank you very much. Open my laptop.
Next item yethu i-judges zizawusinika i-report NYDA. Yes. All right. Thank you.
First and foremost, Bulele for this opportunity, but I understand no, it's been a long day.
Yeah.
So I think in 3 minutes means but it's fine. Move on. But that's not the case. The idea here is that as much as we may announce Ngubano or picture the best, but I will ask from Nfla. Can we at least have a group of, okay? So I'm hoping both when the group here to tina so by 4 now fishery as a NYDA. So the idea is to show by izondo says pakapakeni but ziyakwazi ukwenzeka. By izondo says pakapakeni but ziyakwazi ukwenzeka. So without any further ado, once again, mandibulela abantu who have taken the time to actually pitch because it's real market and in order to get to a point where the reason it was umntomtsha maseti. Yes. And yango kusendivuyela kamandi ulaphe emonte nama I'm responsible for iBuffalo City neAmathole. So again, thank you for ixesha lenu, but ke it's not about talking. A year from now we'll recap sibone ba besithetha qha okanye simenzile umahluko.
Enkosi kakhulu bhuti. Ndisawunika abantu ababini ichance bathethe, ungabi ngathi sithetha sodwa. Ungaphumi umuntu apha ekhubekile. So
bill was firstly tabled as an institution in this thing, and especially from as an institution in this thing, and especially from the Eastern Cape. We used to have something called Green Lungs, where as BHP Billiton, we identified those we used to do. We used to give members of the communities or certain groups seats and also give them the Jojo tanks for water to plant these seedlets and so that to plant these seedlets and so at that point the act wasn't, various municipalities, districts and so forth and so on, various municipalities, districts and so forth and so on, so that we can also, I'm not saying we must outgrow Ulimumbona, but let's have other alternatives. So thank you so much, I appreciate it. Thank you, Chair.
thank you so much. And 3. 3. 1 is never stop dreaming. Never. Use it. Use it. Rolihlahla Mandela, he says, it always seems impossible until it is done. Thank you so much.
From elaa xesha ndandicelwe ngalo ndina 50 years ndizama ukuthi ke ndinamava kule nto ndiyaphitsha ndinamava kule nto yokubulela kodwa kukho igama elimnandi eliye lithi enkosi kuni nonke imayeza ngeli xesha uthetha ngesustainability ningabi nakuxhala kakhulu ndizawuqaqanisa ndixelisa umgqakho esityilifa kuba kusukela lifi ngelo lakhe esonqento bathi bawubhaqwa besifuna ukuva ezo ndaba zemnandi ngu-CEO wase-ECDC kunye notata uMaphanga abandigqiba ukubabulela u-CEO umntu xa esenza into entle kuthi sekufike i-hour yakhe yokufa kuthi ngenxa yento babe baninzi abantu abanqwenela bufe uchuphile u-SABC kwamhlaba iyalingana uthwalela into babantu ze bathi wawuthetha bakuve andiyenzi ke mna ke loo nto yokuthwala kuba uthe u-CEO uthwalela into babantu ze bathi wawuthetha bakuve andiyenzi ke mna ke loo nto yokuthwala kuba uthe u-CEO wase-ECDC okanye lixhwelela ukunyanga lisuke ufike lifika kusindwe ngobetho ndinibomnisweni sasingenile nakuqala asizuphuma into esingayenziyo kwa-Nfla nyaka yayisithi what the hell is that? BBC, government, private sector. Le nto besiyenza apha le ngqungquthela besiyenza apha siyenze ibe yi-annual event talk phaya uqhuma ithuli phaya uvezo zinto into ebesiyenza kule besiyenza apha siyenze ibe yi-annual event talk phaya uqhuma ithuli phaya uvezo zinto into ebesiyenza kule ngqungquthela besifuna into yobana abantu baye kusingcazeli ngqungquthela besifuna into yobana abantu baye kusingcazeli